welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday live on the GSMC Sports Network, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on the GSMC Sports Network on the YouTube page. So make sure you guys Superman punch that like and subscribe button to this show. Also, make sure you guys keep checking back on some videos. Going to make some during the week, always on different kind of, news topics, all the action inside and outside of the ring. I talk about contract negotiations, superstars, extensions for promotions like AEW, WWE, New Japan Professional Wrestling. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show 1010%. So without further ado, let's go and jump on into it. First and foremost, hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Definitely love hearing from you guys in terms of comments and making sure you guys feel like you guys are a part of the show. So don't be shy. Just drop your thoughts inside that. When it's live, it's drop it inside that chat box. But you watch it on YouTube. Make sure you comment and we can definitely get back to you. Have a nice little back and forth, little banter. Would love to hear absolutely everything and anything you guys have to say. And so welcome to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. First segment, we're going to talk about some SmackDown coming up tonight. We're also going to talk about WWE NXT. It was the go-home show before Vengeance Day. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Then we're going to talk about The Undertaker. The Undertaker right now is absolutely hot water based on in an interview that he had with Bully Ray Dudley on the Busted Open podcast, basically protecting Vince McMahon. Well, I wouldn't really say protecting Vince McMahon. I would just, I would say more or less just kind of making sure people don't really, I think overall, I think his intentions were, I'm not trying to sound like, a bad person or anything, but I think overall his intentions were good. He was just not trying to buy into, what people think about Vince and on the outside with the allegations and the scandals and the sexual, all this kind of stuff pops up. And a lot of people, including myself, I read, I checked out his comments, and I got to be honest, it was a little. The only thing I really got to say, I read a wrestling tabloid that said it was stupid, it was terrible, could definitely jeopardize his legacy in WWE. But being honest, I just think it was a little insensitive. That's all, really. For the victims, people who have been victims of that kind of allegations and stuff like that. And I don't know. We're gonna talk about that. Well, sometimes, to be honest, you get caught with your foot in your mouth once in a while, and I think the Undertaker definitely got caught this time. In our fourth segment, we're going to talk about Samantha Irvin. Samantha Irvin drops a new single today. Obviously, it is Valentine's Day. Maybe her inspiration was Ricochet. Maybe not. Maybe, maybe they have a lovely planned evening. Definitely miss seeing them on WWE. But so far, Ricochet and AEW, storyline's a little, but, we'll talk about it then. In our fifth segment, we're going to talk about, what do we have for our fifth segment? We're going to talk about Women's Evolution. We're going to talk about the Women's Evolution PLE Part 2. I think there's going to be a new Women's Evolution. I feel like there's so much talent in terms of the women's division on WWE, SmackDown, Raw, NXT, you name it. And a chance for them to go out and showcase, and that this doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be taken off of PLEs like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble. I don't think so at all. I feel like they should have a women's pay-per-view every year. We're going to get into that when the time has come. But without a shadow of a doubt, we're going to talk about some WWE SmackDown. Of course, like I said, make sure you guys hit up the comment section. Superman, punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the network here, the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1010%. But of course, in terms of talking sports, there's going to be criticisms. There's going to be some disagreements. It's kind of inevitable when you talk sports with friends or, when you talk sports in terms of, media. Absolutely. We are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily, checks out the shows, and, supports us. So definitely thank you guys in advance. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's get this party started. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome during our live shows. Would love to hear from you guys. And, just want to make sure you guys' voice is part of the mix. You guys are a part of the show. There's no such thing as a no comment or anything. Well, of course, keep it professional. Don't be shy. Drop your thoughts inside that comment section with a nice little thumbs up and a subscribe. So, yeah, let's talk about SmackDown. SmackDown, obviously, tonight. SmackDown tonight, Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. We have Naomi taking on Chelsea Green for the Elimination Chamber qualifying match. I talked about this before on the show, and I'm not trying to diss Naomi at all whatsoever, but I feel like you put Naomi in there, it's going to it's gonna make it a little. I don't want to sound mean. I feel because she's gifted, she's talented, this and that and the other. But this is an elimination chamber match to determine who's going to challenge at WrestleMania. And you think about the WrestleMania card right now. So far, all we have is Jey Uso and Gunther. Yeah, it's pretty good. We've seen it on Saturday night's main event. So I give it so far, and I know it's only one match, and I am totally jumping the gun here. I'll give it a B right now. And they need to start compiling matches, especially, with I would say there's about 8. I think there's more. There's about 8 episodes of SmackDown, 8 episodes of Raw, 2 more months to WrestleMania, April 19th, night 1, April 20th, night 2. And, I feel like they need a big name. Obviously, I feel like the winner of this Elimination Chamber match is going to take on Tiffany Stratton. I know a lot of people think Charlotte Flair is going to be the one to challenge her. I think not. I think if Charlotte challenges Rhea Ripley, the WWE Women's World Champion, it would definitely be like a main event worthy WrestleMania Night 2 kind of caliber of a match. I think so, 1,010%. Both the women are at the top of their game. Both of them are super successful. They're super dominant. Most importantly, they're super athletic to put on a great show, to put on a great match, to kind of cap off an amazing night. The spectacle that is, that is WrestleMania. I feel like that needs to happen. So, you think about the women in the Elimination Chamber match. I would love to see Alexa Bliss, take on Tiffany Stratton. But right now, she's kind of coming out with her doll, making, little hints here and there that she may or may not be part of the Wyatt Six. So maybe keeping that storyline open, I can see that. That just leaves, perhaps maybe Chelsea Green's going to win, which I feel like she will. I feel like she will win this qualifying match. But actually, I heard that Trish Stratus is, she wants to make an appearance at Elimination Chamber, obviously in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I think that's her hometown. And there's been speculation stating that she will challenge Chelsea Green for the Women's United States Championship. And Chelsea, she's had a decent reign so far. So if she loses it or if she fights somebody at Elimination Chamber, I could be okay with that because once again, news media. Once when Michelle McCool was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, well, she's going to be in the class of 2025. Chelsea Green kind of laid down the challenge for Lay Cool, obviously Layla, Michelle McCool, Lay Cool, and I see Piper Niven, Chelsea Green, classic WrestleMania match of nostalgia. You have the old timers come in, show that they still got it, show that Michelle McCool is definitely still, that she still got it, and she's going to be a Hall of Famer. So I definitely think 1,010%. That could be the way to go. If Chelsea Green drops the title at Elimination Chamber, that it would be Trish Stratus, and I know nostalgia. I wouldn't, because Trish is still in great shape. She's definitely still in great shape. She could still represent the championship. She could still be a fighting champion, wrestled day in and day out. I guess what I'm afraid of is just young talent kind of falling off. But as of right now, you think about what's happening on SmackDown. Nia Jax is already kind of, she's already kind of consumed in, in a feud with Tiffany Stratton, and I feel like she's gonna maybe feud with Charlotte once when WrestleMania is all said and done, because Charlotte Flair, if WWE does it right, and I could be totally wrong, I don't think Charlotte Flair should get a belt. I'm sorry, I just don't think she should. As of right now, I feel like you have to let Rhea. She's on top of the world right now. You kind of let her do her thing. Tiffany Stratton, she's like right there on the cusp. She's like right there on the top. She's she's excelling. WWE wants to make her into a total star. You cannot end this reign of Tiffany time so super quick. So that just leaves, and I feel like maybe it's gonna happen sometime tonight on SmackDown. We have the main event: Tiffany Stratton defending her WWE Women's Championship against Nia Jax. I feel like some way, somehow, you're gonna get, you're gonna get Charlotte Flair maybe finding some way to kind of screw over, Nia Jax after everything that Nia said last week, but it's up in the air right now. Like, I feel like Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. It's, like I said, I just don't like that she won the Rumble. I feel like you could have had so many different storylines. Overall, I feel like Triple H's decision of letting Charlotte Flair and Jey Uso win the Royal Rumble is, I feel like it was a nice little safe choice. It was a nice little safe choice. You have all these young, talented superstars that are be coming into WWE as of next year. So you kind of have to, monitor that a little bit, but at the same time, you have to kind of leave operations and you got to leave opportunities, most importantly, open so you can slide in a newcomer and they can make a name for themselves. If you have Charlotte Flair standing up on top, challenging for the title over and over and over and over and over again, it could be a little troublesome. Plus, it'd be a nice way for Tiffany Stratton, for Trish Stratus to make it back to WWE. And she said this in an interview, that she wouldn't be totally against being a full-timer at WWE once again. But then, in the interview as well, she also exclaimed that she does not want to take any opportunities away from any of the young superstars. But she said, hey, if they're okay with it, then I would definitely, I'd love to play the part. I'd be part of storylines. Basically, she's saying that if I'm stuck in a storyline where I would have to give up the title, she wouldn't mind it. And basically, she cares about the business, all business, which is actually super, super, super duper cool. Pretty Deadly has earned a tag team title shot by defeating the WWE Tag Team Champions DIY last week. Are they going to get their shot tonight? I don't think so. Tonight we do have Motor City Machine Guns taking on Los Garza. I think Los Garza, and they need to win this match. I think they need to win this match, and I think they will. They definitely will with the help of the Street Profits. You're going to get a Motor City Machine Guns and the Street Profits going at it. But, that's a high-end main event match in itself right there in the tag team division. It sucks that there's not going to be gold on the line. I do like DIY. I do like Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. They're better as a team as opposed to them, being apart. But I don't really see the flair. They're kind of like those, those not enemies. That's not the right word. They're kind of like bullies. They're kind of bullies. They're cocky, saying that they're this and that and the other, the best tag team there is. I think there's got to be a different shot right now. I'm really high on the Street Profits. I got to be honest. I'm a huge Montez Ford kind of guy. I definitely think he's going to be a future WWE champion. But as of right now, you got to give him a shot. And Los Garza, those guys have been, and like with the release of Elektra Lopez, I just hope that Legado del Fantasma they don't follow, Santos Escobar as well as Los Garza. That would suck if they left. I got to be honest. I like, and their tag team matches are exciting to watch. So, should be interesting to kind of find out what happens there. But, like I said, still up in the air. Solo Sikoa to return tonight. Obviously, he returned last week by attacking Cody Rhodes. I don't want to see him fight Cody Rhodes anymore. That's something that I feel like they kind of set Solo Sikoa up to fail. I do. I feel like that 1,010%. He wanted to, or according to the storyline, he was like this. They needed a tribal chief. They needed somebody to assume the role as with the Ulafala, and he was like, you know what, screw it. And then he looked exactly like what the storyline was trying to perpetuate. He's not ready yet. He's not ready yet. He's still young. Maybe one day he will be ready. Maybe that's overall what they were trying to do. But they put him against Cody Rhodes super quick. Tried to get him to fight Roman Reigns right off the bat. And, all due respect with the storyline heading into WWE Survivor Series, I definitely understand why they did that. Because, we got to see the original Bloodline come back together. That's completely badass. We all got what we wanted. And I don't know. I feel like Solo Sikoa's career is a little suffering. I want to see him come back absolutely, ready to tear it down. I want to see him win matches. There's been speculation stating that maybe he found his way out of the Bloodline. Right now, Jakob Fatu and Tama Tonga are kind of doing their own thing. And to be brutally honest, if they come back together, I feel like the storyline of the new Young Bloodline would kind of be a little stale. I feel like if he does decide to just opt in, they decide to go after LA Knight, Shinsuke Nakamura for the United States Championship. I don't know why I feel like that's a devalue of Solo Sikoa, because I feel like they wanted to make him into like a main eventer kind of thing. But then again, I'm not trying to devalue the United States Championship. I know overall it is a mid-card belt, and Shinsuke Nakamura being the champion so far, it's been a good reign. It's been a decent reign. He doesn't have that pop that the LA Knight does. You know, if Solo Sikoa has a title, you know, and if he was the United States Championship, I feel like that would kind of solidify himself as a competitor on the SmackDown roster. So maybe that wouldn't be such a bad idea. But for me, I feel like that'd be kind of like a desperate choice. You know what I mean? Like I said, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm too attached to this. You know, maybe I'm staring at this little piece, super duper. In thorough analysis. Maybe sometimes I got to take a step back to see the overall bigger picture. But, I don't know. I just need something needs to happen at WrestleMania for Solo Sikoa. And, maybe the United States Championship is the answer. Who knows? Maybe not. All right, we have Damien Priest against Braun Strowman against Jakob Fatu in an Elimination Chamber qualifier. Strowman, Fatu, they're going to go at it. They're going to completely beat the hell out of each other. I feel like this is going to be a nice way for Damien Priest to assert himself inside the Elimination Chamber match. And, he came to SmackDown. He had that little backstage run-in with Cody Rhodes, said, "I'll see you soon." So right now he is on the mind of Cody Rhodes. He's on the mind of the WWE Universe of being a future champion. He's young. I feel like overall he's better as a babyface than he was a heel on the Judgment Day. As the World Heavyweight Champion, he was decent. You know, a lot of people claim that he was a transitional champion, because CM Punk got hurt, Drew McIntyre got hurt, Seth Rollins got hurt around the WrestleMania season. So they're like, all right, Damien Priest cash in, bam, it's like a get out of jail free card. He runs Monday Night Raw with the Judgment Day. You have the Judgment Day betrayal, and then that is the end of Damien Priest's title reign. And then that's the reign of Gunther. They're like, hey, let's give Gunther give him a shot. But I feel like Damien Priest is going to win this match. What I do definitely want to see is I want to see Braun Strowman and Jakob Fatu both get established storylines after tonight. Because right now Strowman's kind of floating around. Fatu keeps, he's dropping promos backstage and in the ring. And he keeps losing to Jey Uso on separate occasions and Cody Rhodes on separate occasions. So what I want to see is after the match, I want to see Braun Strowman getting beat the holy hell out of from Jakob Fatu, Tama Tonga, maybe Solo Sikoa, and then I want to see the Wyatt Six come back. I feel like this would be an amazing way for Eric Rowan to come back to save his old friend, and then Eric Rowan starts getting beat down, and then the lights turn out, and then you see Uncle Howdy, then you see Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy. And then now you get like a nice little 4-on-4 match at WrestleMania. That'd be pretty badass. Obviously, I feel like not 4-on-4. That would technically be 5. Am I tripping? I think I am tripping. Yeah, no, that'd be 5, or they would choose somebody else, and it'd be Tama Tonga, Solo Sikoa, and Jakob Fatu taking on probably Bo Dallas, Braun Strowman, and Eric Rowan. That'd be a nice little dream match for Bo Dallas as well, obviously going with his brother's old running mates in Eric Rowan and Braun Strowman. So I feel like that'd be pretty cool. But obviously that's what I want to see. Is it going to happen? I don't know. I hope it does. But you can't always get what you want. All right, our next segment, we're going to talk about WWE NXT. It's the go-home show before Vengeance Day. We're going to talk about that. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice-cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits, some losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip, you choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. Oh,
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday night live on the GSMC Sports Network. So make sure you Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show and get some notifications whenever I upload some new content, some new wrestling content to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. I talk about all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage curtain calls, all the rumors, all the drama. I talk about superstar extensions, negotiations in terms of contracts, also new signings. Talk about promotions from New Japan Professional Wrestling to WWE to MLW to the NWA for makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, Ring of Honor, TNA, AEW. We talk about it here on this show 1,010%. So make sure, you guys be a part of this awesome wrestling fandom. Before we jump on into our next segment, make sure you guys drop a comment, drop a nice little thumbs up. Subscribe to the GSMC Sports Network. Subscribe to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, especially if you guys are wrestling fans. I've been a wrestling fan all my life. And one thing about, watching wrestling and talking wrestling, it's always cool, you do it as a family. Something cool about wrestling fandom is you can absolutely hunt down anybody, in at a Walmart, a Target, at the bar or whatever, restaurant, or Disneyland for that matter. You see a wrestling shirt, you can automatically just strike up a conversation, and it's like a mutual respect is established on right there on the basis. So it's kind of cool. It's nice. That's the only way I could really describe it. But it's always cool. Wrestling fans are always so humble. So make sure you guys drop a comment, and we are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily, checks out our shows, all the amazing hosts on this sports network. Make sure you guys support them as well. You guys obviously do make a difference. So, send in those comments on our live chats. Make sure you guys send in those super chats and those super stickers because you guys are super awesome. And together we'll make sure this network, this podcast is the greatest wrestling podcast in the whole entire world. Actually, I've seen a lot of great wrestling podcasts. I got to be honest. I'm a fan of a lot of shows. It's exciting to watch. It's cool. You know what I mean? All right, we have WWE NXT talk. First and foremost, right off the bat, we got Bayley taking on Cora Jade. Roxanne Perez comes out with a distraction, dressing up as the old Bayley with the Bayley buddies and the I'm a hugger kind of thing. I thought that was kind of cool. I like that. I like that in Roxanne Perez. Reminds me of a young, cocky, conceited. She just wants to rub the fact that Bayley, once upon a time, was kind of like this giant babyface. Was this babyface that a lot of the WWE universe, she was like a fan, turned to a superstar. And then sometimes she kind of seemed too like babyface. And I definitely love the way how Bayley got super upset about it because, she knew that Roxanne Perez was like, according to kayfabe, never a fan. Never a fan, but she does, she was doing it to mock her. And Bayley, out of everybody in the WWE universe, she definitely wears her emotions on her sleeves, especially when she's trying to cut a promo. Even when she was a babyface, even when she was a heel, she was always very easy to read. Maybe that's the reason why when she first turned heel, I kind of didn't buy it at first, But I feel like as of right now, it did her career a nice little like due diligence. She needed that to happen. Bayley needed a different character. She needed a whole different, transformation. And bam, you got the role model, from the I'm the Hugger kind of thing where Bayley was seen as like kind of like a Kaylani Jordan on NXT. So it'd be interesting to kind of find out maybe Kaylani Jordan kind of goes through that same transformation. And, she becomes a heel because right now the storyline for Kaylani Jordan, and I got to be honest, it's a little stale. You see her backstage begging for a North American Championship. And I think it was JC Jane who was like, girl, you already had your chance. You had your rematch, Kaylani. And then Kaylani right off the bat, she was like, well, you haven't faced this version of Kaylani. Like, you know what I mean? It seemed a little like, I was kind of like, oh, okay. Trying to establish a new character in Kaylani Jordan is definitely a must. So I would love to see her turn heel. That'd be so badass. She'd be like Jada Parker as opposed to being an enemy. Maybe she could be like a nice little, like a mentor or something like that. You know what I mean? Maybe they can go along that storyline. Jada Parker, OTM right now, I gotta be honest, it seems, I don't think they're going anywhere. I don't know. WWE just released a haul of superstars, and OTM hasn't really been that successful lately. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, I would never ever I would never ever hope that somebody gets released or anything like that. Absolutely not. But if the OTM wants to stay relevant in WWE, there has to be some kind of different storylines. Maybe somehow, some way, Jada Parker is the new manager of Kaylani Jordan, who wants to see her do good, who wants to I just want to push you on the edge because I feel like you have not unleashed your full potential, and I want to help you do that. And then now you kind of have a different tag team on the map. You have fire, you have ice, you have hot and cold. You have the good cop, bad cop, Kaylani Jordan and Jada Parker. It would be an interesting formulation of a tag team there. And I'd definitely be, Cora Jade able to pick up the victory, obviously, thanks to the distraction by Roxanne Perez. Cora Jade, absolutely, ever since the whole backstage promo with Roxanne Perez, it seemed like Cora Jade is definitely fed up. She's definitely fed up. It was kind of cool to kind of see her go through that, hey, I'm not your friend anymore. You know what I mean? She's doing work in TNA right now. She is, and she's being, she's fantastic. Do I think she's going to win the NXT, championship at Vengeance Day? I don't think so. I definitely think this is going to be a nice way for NXT, for Shawn Michaels to kind of build up this rivalry that they used to battle each other back in the day, I believe, Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez. And, now you kind of see this rivalry reunited, and nice little NXT stand and deliver match. Kind of reminds me of Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams going at it. So I would definitely love to see that. I definitely would love to see Cora Jade go at it with Roxanne Perez, both of them NXT's best, young, talented superstars. Roxanne Perez, obviously, she does have an elimination qualifier match on Monday Night Raw against Raquel Rodriguez. But I don't know. I feel like you can stem a lot of storylines from this main event, Fatal 4-Way, for the NXT Women's World Championship at Vengeance Day. And I don't know. I'm excited to watch it. Obviously, it's tomorrow. So is it tomorrow or is it on Sunday? I gotta double check that. Next, we have Zarya, Sol Ruca. It seems like they're both heading toward a new direction, a new tag team possibly being formed. It seems like Zarya backstage, very friendly. She had a match with Nikita Lyons. Big win for Zarya. Nikita was always kind of viewed as, for me at least, she always kind of seemed like she was ready to kind of step to that next level. So, Zarya defeating her the way she did, she kind of defeated her, pretty soundly, pretty easily. Not really, that much scrutiny, not really that much, stress in the victory. But the best thing about Zarya is that I feel like she is going to be a major, major star. She's going to play a giant role in NXT heading toward the future. Right now, I feel like Shawn is kind of just, developing Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, WWE, especially NXT, going international. And, Zarya, one of the best wrestlers in the independent wrestling scene, obviously from Australia. Being with Sol Ruca, I like it. I definitely love that tag team. I definitely think they could establish some gold there. And, with the Unholy Union, obviously one half was let go. She was released by the company. The only one left is Alba Fire. You got to, once when you take out one tag team, you got to replace it with another. So seeing Zarya and Sol Ruca, on NXT would be pretty badass. And if you think about NXT tag teams, obviously you saw the disbandment between Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez, what we just talked about. You have Last Legend, Cara Jackson. I feel like that faction is not really going anywhere. And I mentioned before, maybe Jada Parker and Kaylani Jordan could represent the NXT Tag Team Women's Division, because there's not much. There's definitely not much. There's Fatal Influence, but I'm not really high on Fatal Influence. I feel like Fallon Henley is holding on with that. She's holding on to that title by a thread. Is she a transitional champion? I don't think so. I don't think, because I feel like she has been with the company. She has busted her ass, so I feel like, she definitely deserves a little bit of recognition there. But I don't know. It's I feel like the women's tag team division is just starting to heat up. All right, next we have Oba Femi comes out to speak. Grayson Waller, Austin Theory seem like they're divided, talking crap to each other. Pretty hurtful stuff, too. Perhaps, I feel like it was too hurtful. There's such thing as, dropping a nice little promo where you kind of have a hidden innuendo like, hey, I'm going to kick your ass, too. But this one was just flat out boom, boom, boom. They were, like, dogging at each other. And I feel like it is time for a breakup. It is time for a breakup. I'm not a huge A-Town Down Under guy. I've been wanting this breakup for about, 2.5 months now. You kind of have to let Austin Theory go off and do his thing. I know right now the transfer portal is closed as of, I think I heard Joe Tessitore say that on SmackDown. But, Grayson Waller going back to NXT seems like a good move. I'm sorry. I feel like it is a great move. I don't really see him on the Raw roster or the SmackDown roster, all by himself. Because, he's kind of like that face. He's that mouth. And I feel like right now on Raw, you have CM Punk. And then on SmackDown, obviously, you have, you have The Miz. And now you Drew McIntyre as well. So, they talk, cut promos and stuff like that. So, I feel like Grayson Waller should come back to NXT. I feel like that'd be perfect for him. Next, we have Hank and Tank going up against No Quarter Catch Crew, going up against Briggs and Inumura. I love the fact that Briggs and Inumura definitely did look like a nice little tag team. It was a great match. They got a title shot. They're going to take on Nathan Frazier and Axiom for those NXT World Tag Team Championships at Vengeance Day. Coming up soon. This is going to be a good match. I don't know if Briggs and Inumura is going to be the people to finally dethrone Fraxium because they've been champions for quite some time. And once when you think they're going to lose them, they win pretty soundly. They went to TNA, defended up against the Nemeth Brothers, pretty good against not ABC, the Rascals. The Rascals, and they won pretty soundly too. So I ultimately thought Fraxium was going to maybe make their jump to Monday Night Raw. But, right now you kind of have the War Raider as the World Tag Team Champion. So it's kind of like, kind of need that same, little big, heavy-hitting kind of guys. Maybe Josh Briggs and Inumura make their way to Raw, perhaps. But as of right now, I feel like... but then again, Frazier and Axiom, I feel like, have beaten everyone so far. They've beaten everyone so far, and I know there's this new debuting faction that's coming on Vengeance Day. I don't know how dominant they're going to be, and maybe WWE's holding off to kind of put the tag team titles on them. But I don't know. It's it's always nice going into a PLE, kind of a little mind boggled a little bit, kind of not knowing what's going to happen. Because if something's too predictable, it's not really that fun. So you kind of have to have that sense of doubt, that maybe foreshadow of a potential shocker. So maybe this tag team, maybe Briggs can do it. Maybe Briggs and Inumura can do it. Heritage Cup Championship match. We had Lexis King defeat JDC. As I mentioned before, Zarya defeated Nikita Lyons. Trick Williams accepts a strap match from Eddie Thorpe. Ricky Starks is now NXT. We all knew this was going to happen. We all knew that he was going to leave AEW. He's going to be released, and then he was going to make it onto NXT WWE whenever it was time for him to come back. Well, not come back. For time for him to make a nice little grand, entrance that he really did. They didn't really make too much of a shock factor to it. He literally came out in the middle of the crowd, demanded that he's going to start a revolution. And I feel like he's a huge talented star. I feel like he is. But I just hope that WWE, if they're trying to do something with Ricky Starks, because he kind of gives me, maybe I could be jumping the gun here. He kind of reminds me of like a young Rocky Maivia, who seems like he could, a little conceited. But then again, the fans, they like him, but they mostly like him because of the capabilities he can do inside the ring. So, him potentially being NXT North American champion could be a nice little start for him. Well, I feel like I just don't want WWE to kind of make him. I don't want to say poppy because I don't know if that I don't know if that analogy is gonna resonate with the people watching. this show right now. Maybe mainstream, like, Ricky Starks, in independent wrestling, like he brings a whole different style to WWE. And I hope that they let him ultimately express himself in that kind of matter, because if they, if they cut him mainstream to like, you're going to be the next, like I said, you're going to be the next The Rock. And then, he's trying to cut promos that ultimately like the style that's not really in his, in his arsenal, in his tool bag in terms of comfortability and stuff like that. It's just going to look really weird. It's going to look misplaced. So, I don't know. I definitely think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be great. And then you also think, Ricky Starks, he's done some great stuff in the past. So, I'm staying hopeful. I definitely think he's going to be big in WWE. But, it should be interesting to kind of find out what storyline he kicks off first. Main event, steel cage match. Not much to talk about that. The Dawn was betrayed by Izzy Dame. We have, Sean Spears. I don't want to say Kevin Jensen. Brooks Jensen. And I can't remember the other guy's name. I always forget the other guy. Nico? No, not even going to try. So now you kind of have their faction starting off. Definitely a nice little match. They would have been cool to kind of have that, like a nice little 4-on-4 match at Vengeance Day, because it is technically Let's Get Vengeance. But it might be at it definitely might be heading toward Stand and Deliver. That'd be a nice little match there. Nice little, maybe a main eventer. That'd be pretty badass. All right, without further ado, let's talk about a third segment. We got The Undertaker right now on the hot seat based on some comments he made during an interview with Bully Ray on the Busted Open podcast. We're going to dig into that when we come back. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite high school beverage to join me here in about 25 seconds. So hey, do not go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right, welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez. I'm live on the GSMC Sports Network every Monday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage curtain calls, all the rumors, all the drama. We talk about inactive statuses. We talk about injury updates. We talk about contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings. We also talk about promotions from WWE, like WWE, AEW, TNA, Ring of Honor, NWA, MLW. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling all around the world, internationally, we talk about it here on this show, 1010%. So don't be shy and drop that, Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show so you guys can get some more awesome wrestling content. Make sure you guys drop a comment after watching the video, or if you attend one of our live shows, make sure you guys hit up that super chat, those super stickers, because you guys are super duper awesome. Can't be, definitely love you guys. Thank you guys so much for the appreciation. Definitely thank you guys for tuning into all these amazing shows with all these amazing podcasters who have one goal in mind, to make sure you guys consume all the sports content that you guys love so damn much, courtesy of the GSMC Sports Network. All right. So without further ado, we have The Undertaker, the dead man, Mark Calloway, under high scrutiny on the hot seat right now, based on some comments he made during an interview with Bully Ray on the Busted Open podcast. Obviously, this all kind of stemmed from Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon, and the WWE legend. A rare public appearance by Vince McMahon, but they were spotted at Super Bowl 59, obviously watching the Kansas City Chiefs get their arses kicked by the Philadelphia Eagles. But the main thing around this, obviously, we haven't seen Vince McMahon since he stepped down from TKO and WWE after the horrific allegations of sex trafficking, as well as allegations of obviously in the past with like hush money and ring boys and all this other stuff. Like just a lot of negative public relations right there. And during an appearance on the Busted Open radio, the Undertaker defended Vince McMahon, his love for Vince McMahon. He said this, and I quote, "He gave me an opportunity to make something of my life," which he did. But overall, that opportunity, then you could ultimately, at that point, you got the opportunity, and you kind of did it yourself. And then he went on to say, "We became very close friends after my father passed away. He was a father figure. He was a brother. He was a mentor. Always treated my family with the utmost respect." And obviously, I feel like, how can I put this? You kind of have a dichotomous like nature. It feels like the Undertaker right now is, like I said earlier, like I feel like he did get, sometimes you do talk. You catch your foot in your mouth, and right now I feel like more or less, like I mentioned, he's just acting a little insensitive towards some of the people who were victims of the allegations, people who have been victims of sexual assault and stuff like that. Obviously not related to Vince McMahon. I'm just talking, about life in general. But I definitely get the fact that he was a father figure to you, and I definitely know that he will probably never ever see Vince McMahon in like a negative, image. And kudos to you, man. Kudos to you. But overall, like if you based on the stuff that he continues to say, I got to be honest, it was a little, for that when I read that first part, I was like, you know what? It seemed like he was just trying to do right by Vince McMahon. He wasn't necessarily trying to, be on the wrong side there where he would be forced to slander his friend's name. But The Undertaker then claimed that he had no idea what was going on. And like if you're as close as as you claim you guys were, there could possibly be like maybe he turned a blind eye to all the stuff that was going on backstage in WWE. One of those things where I was like, you know what? And, I got people do it all the time. People do it not like that all the time. I'm talking about different circumstances. Sometimes you go to work. Sometimes you see something funky happening and you're like, you know what? The right thing to do would be like, tell somebody about it. Confront him. Alert higher ups that this is happening. But back then in WWE, it was like a natural thing. And, doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make it okay, but The Undertaker probably had the mentality that's like, you know what, I'm going to go in the ring, go out there, do my thing. I'm going to be a good employee. I'm going to listen to my boss, and, what's happening over there, neither here nor there. I'm not going to consume myself into that because it could ultimately reflect negatively on my public image, on the story that I'm trying to create, which he did. He was, he's The Undertaker. He had a tremendous WrestleMania, record. So he's like, you know what, I'm not going to F with that. Not going to F with that. That's happening over there. And, it's one of those things where sometimes if you see something, you should definitely, tell somebody. But on the other hand, I guess I can kind of be like, okay, I guess I understand. He didn't want to get into it. He's your friend. He's your mentor. He's a father figure to you. So, you're not going to tell him what's what. You're just going to be there for a friend when it all goes to crap and he winds up in a court case. Then yeah, you can be there for him. That happens. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Then he continues to say there's only one judge, obviously, talking about, the man upstairs, so, people should get off their high horse. I was like, whoa, when I read that, The Undertaker's, and then he said, you don't have to like me. I don't give a shiitake mushrooms, basically what you guys have to say. I feel like at that point, I feel like maybe he doesn't want to accept it. Maybe I'm trying to defend Taker a little bit here. Maybe he feels like, the allegations were untrue. Maybe Vince McMahon told him they were untrue, and maybe he bought it. You know what I mean? Like he mentioned in an interview, Vince McMahon treated his family with the most, with the utmost respect. And it's like, oh, he would never do that kind of thing. He would never ever do those kind of things, which ultimately he did. But allegations, and whatnot. But just to kind of go off and say people need to get off their high horse. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, I get it. Everybody makes mistakes. But I feel like The Undertaker was kind of categorizing criminals, or trying to categorize people who had allegations, and just be like, oh, well, it's up for God to judge and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And, usually that's a nice little argument, but at the same time, not a lot of people, it's not that. You can't compare apples to oranges here. What he did was terrible. Like, it was pretty damn bad, dude. Like, I don't know. I don't know. He was trying to throw Vince into the category of people. Hey, people make mistakes, man. People make mistakes. But it's not like what Vince did. Like, it's crazy. Then he went on to say, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Like I said, kind of a stowing at, people. They have, bad backgrounds too. People do wrong things too. Why should Vince be treated differently? And I don't know. It's just, like I said, very insensitive, a little wonky. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Taker, but I think, I don't know. He also had, he's also had guests on his podcast that were, kind of controversial to people. I feel like The Undertaker, definitely his time outside of WWE right now, I feel like he's just kind of saying, F it. I'm fully retired. I'm not going to make an in-ring return. So I'm just going to kind of go haywire a little bit. I know a guy, well, I don't know him, but there's a guy that did that. And his name's Hulk Hogan. And then he came to the Netflix on Raw. And then he got booed the hell out of. I don't think that would ever happen to Taker. I don't think that would ever happen to The Undertaker. I don't think his legacy is in jeopardy. It's one of those things where it's like, I go to work. I do my work. I put on entertainment for all the fans, all the wrestling universe out there. But you don't necessarily have to like me as a person. You just got to respect, what I've done for for the people, what I've done for the company. But, as of, with this new day and age of digital media, essentially you're kind of like your own public relations representative. The things you say on media, there's Twitter/X, there's Instagram, there's a lot of different platforms that people could definitely see this as an opportunity to be like, damn, what's wrong with The Undertaker? Why is he saying stuff like that? Why does it seem like he's not acting... Why does it seem like he's not respecting, or he's not being not sincere? He's not being sensitive toward these kind of allegations, and it's just I get it. I get it. Father figure, mentor, friend, all that. Very controversial, but I don't know. I feel like maybe somehow, some way, The Undertaker will ultimately clean this up and be like, I didn't mean it like this. I didn't mean it like that. So, I still love The Undertaker. I definitely one of my favorite WWE superstars of all time. Not really a fancy on that hot take he dropped. But, I don't know. He's kind of going on his own little wavelength there, man. Obviously, his wife, Michelle McCool, was inducted to be in the Hall of Fame in 2025. She's a two-time women's champion, and she's a two-time and the first ever women's, Divas champion. So congratulations to Michelle McCool. The Undertaker, my man, if you're ever going to watch this, and I doubt you will, but, I guess, put yourself in other people's shoes. I guess that's the overall moral of the story. That's the best I can come up with. I'm sorry. Moving on, we have Samantha Irvin dropping a new single. Today is Valentine's Day. Hopefully you guys are, going to treat your special someone to a nice little dinner. Maybe you got them flowers or chocolate, or maybe, the women got the men, tickets to go see The Weeknd or something. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. Now I don't really know nowadays what men really want on Valentine's Day. I don't think I've gotten a Valentine's Day gift in a long time, to be brutally honest. But we're going to find out Samantha Irvin's gift to the world. She's dropped a new single with her amazing voice, and we're going to talk about it when we come back. So, hey, do not go absolutely anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC. To access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Alrighty, we're back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday night, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, live to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling on the GSMC Sports Network. So make sure you guys smash that like and subscribe button to the show. Make sure you guys check frequently to check out some videos. I publish wrestling videos throughout the week. And so we can talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. All right, so without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, we're gonna talk about Samantha Irvin dropping a new single. Obviously, she's been off of WWE for quite some time to pursue her musical career. She claimed in an interview that she kind of, one of those things where she kind of felt like she got like stuck. They're like, hey, can you do this? And then something just like fits like a shoe. But I thought it was pretty great. It feels like she left WWE unexpectedly. You saw her fiance Ricochet, whose talent was wasted in WWE. So you can't really blame Ricochet for, wanting a different opportunity at, in AEW. But it's just crazy how somebody that talented, she never wanted to be a ring announcer. She wanted to be a manager or a wrestling superstar herself. She was spotted backstage at AEW Dynamite last week. I feel like if she would, maybe Tony will give her a shot as a wrestler. Why not? In a women's division that I feel like it'd be perfect for her. You kind of need she can work as a rising star in the women's division that needs to be, kind of refurbished. A division that since Mercedes Moné in her dominant debut, even according to fans, they kind of seen a ripple in the AEW women's division. Maybe this being a nice little, fresh hot take on that. Mercedes Moné, obviously, she gets the big matches and, she gets all the TV time, all the money, and, of course, all the gold. And would Samantha ever contend with the women's division on AEW right now? It doesn't really seem likely, but she could definitely give it a shot. You have, the CMLL, you have Ring of Honor, you have New Japan Professional Wrestling, and then AEW, obviously. You can definitely start small. You start fresh. I feel like right now Ricochet, he's not being a part of the Hurt Business just yet, but maybe he comes out as this like singles like entity, and maybe he needs a manager, and maybe that's where Samantha Irvin will, ultimately come in to kind of, protect her husband at all cost. Help him win, kind of like what Stephanie McMahon did with during the Triple H, McMahon Helmsley era and stuff like that. That would be an interesting storyline. That would be pretty damn interesting. But seeing her within the wrestling ring again would be pretty badass. Her music career was basically the ultimate decision while she left. Also, the traveling issues and stuff like that with with her family is always it's always hard for wrestlers. It's crazy. Irving recently sat with Jordan Mendoza of the USA Today. And she feeling like her music career slipped through her fingers because of her commitment to ring announcing. And you can create a lot of animosity. You have a lot of built up. What's the right word? Oh God, I can't think of it right now. You kind of have built up anger because you didn't get to accomplish something you could have based on I gotta have a job. Right now this works. She could definitely, regret ever taking that decision of being an announcer. But, I definitely thought she did a pretty damn good job at it. And, she had this to say. She said, and I quote, "People stopped calling me for singing gigs. And now they're asking me just to announce everything." She was like, "Oh, no, I took it too far." And she did, but I feel like she was awesome at it. Irving guarantees that she will be back in professional wrestling. She said this, my wrestling career has barely begun. It'll be a complete waste of time. I agree with that. That of all I've done so far, not to continue the story. I kind of like how she said that. And she was like, I got to finish my story. Kind of alluding to the, Cody Rhodes and finishing the story. I feel like that was pretty badass. And like I mentioned before, Irving could definitely be an asset to Tony Khan partnership with Ted Turner. She can be, she can be an actor. She could definitely be an actor right now. Hip hop and R&B stars, they're not just but focused on their musical career. They make their jump into features. They're in the entertainment industry. Doing shows, and you see, Sexy Red on on WWE Monday Night Raw. Sometimes you see Rihanna in movies, Beyonce as well. You have a lot of possibilities that she could definitely do in terms of, with the partnership with Ted Turner. You have the NBA. She could possibly be, maybe, I don't know, but she says she doesn't want to announce. So, yeah, I would see like an NBA, like sideline announcer, NFL, Major League Baseball. They'd be pretty badass. But, her Valentine's Day release, she's released Make Me. Her first musical release since 2020. Classic R&B vibe. I gotta be honest, I had to give it a listen. I gave it a nice little preview. I love the rhyme. I love the repetition of it. But it does kind of sound, I'm not trying to be a jerk, and to be honest, you shouldn't, but I'm not a huge hip-hop and R&B. I do, if it has the right little smooth message to it, I like it. I just don't like nonsense, techno, just to like beat like, I'm just kidding. Moving on. But it kind of seems a little early times, and I see what she's trying to ultimately kind of emulate. I see like a nice little style of like Mariah Carey, kind of like a young, Whitney Houston kind of thing. You get the vibe, you get the mojo going, and then like I said, a lot of the rhyming's good. The lyrics seem like it could be a little repetitive, but sometimes that could be a good thing. I feel like right now hip hop and R&B, and I know I might get a lot of scrutiny about this, I feel like right now it's kind of dead. Not like dead, because I feel like hip hop right now, you have like I said, Beyonce, you have not really, well, you kind of have Beyonce right now. You have Ice Spice, Sexy Red, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, whatever. And then back then you kind of had like Mary J. Blige, you had Mariah Carey, you had all these amazing R&B singers that not a lot of people kind of appreciate nowadays. I feel like it's ultimately kind of too elegant for this generation of music. And I'm not trying to sound mean whatsoever. Definitely not trying to sound, not trying to sound mean. I feel like ultimately right now in this day and age, what people look up to in terms of, what you want an entertainer to be, I feel like right now they want women with like, they want them to have this like, this attitude and, like an attitude era of the hip hop and R&B. But no, and it's good. It's all great. But the attitude in the music, where you will look up hip hop and R&B today. Like look up rap stars and stuff like that. Go ahead and type in Spotify. Like let me hear a playlist of some rap. Like things that are very popular during this day and age, during this generational dive in terms of music. I feel like it's not. I don't know. I just don't feel like it's the perfect. It's not really. How do I say this without sounding mean? Damn it. I feel like R&B right now, the way she wants to sing it, it has too much soul, I guess you could say. It has too much soul. It's too elegant for people who, I feel like right now this generation doesn't appreciate it. I definitely could be wrong. Like I said, I could be wrong, but obviously this is my opinion, 1,010%. And I feel like she could take off her music career, but like Solamente, like relying on it, I'm not trying to downplay the talent or anything like that. I think she's gifted. I think she's amazing. But right now, the musical career, like it's hard to make it in music, man. It's hard. It's really, really hard. Like you have all of this. You have all this. You have, you have the face to do it. You have the personality. Obviously she has a beautiful voice. But sometimes, everything can click, but, sometimes the car won't start, And, getting into something like R&B, like smooth music, I listened to her single today, the Make Me. And, I liked it. I thought it was cool. But I ultimately feel like maybe it's a little bit too elegant, too slow for this day and age of, of Gen Zers. I'm just kidding. No, I don't want to be that guy. But would be interesting to see Samantha come back to professional wrestling, and maybe we will get a revamp of hip hop and R&B. Maybe it just takes one person to start that R&B revolution, and it's going to be Samantha Irvin. Well, I hope so. That'd be pretty cool. All right, moving on to our fifth and final segment. We're going to talk about Women's Evolution 2 in the making. We're going to talk about that when we come back. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage. Join me here in about 20 seconds. So hey, do not go anywhere. everyone, and we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday night, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on the GSMC Sports Network, so make sure you guys come and check out the best wrestling podcast in the biz. I'm just kidding. No. Well, no, it's good. It's good. I just don't want to come off as, super cocky here, because there's a lot of good wrestling, streamers out there. It's, pretty badass, getting to kind of pay your respects. But yeah, let's go and move on to our next segment. We got WWE possibly starting a Women's Evolution 2. I feel like it would be great. Absolutely. You have all the talent right now. Basically, this is the best generation of women's wrestling. I'm not trying to sound like I don't appreciate, the early, women's wrestling or the Divas, era as well. But I just, I don't know. I feel like right now it would be a perfect time to it would be a huge star-studded pay-per-view. I personally think it'd be nice to kind of start it off in, it'd be kind of cool to have it sometime in maybe after, because you do have SummerSlam and then you do have Survivor Series. So that's August and November. Maybe there's a little slot right there where you could possibly, fit it in maybe in September. But, this could be a pay-per-view all by itself. This does not necessarily mean that the women aren't going to fight on other PLEs. Having a Women's Evolution 2 so they can showcase all the young talented women in WWE I feel like it'd be spectacular. I definitely think 1,010%. We had the WWE Evolution, the first one ever, ultimately took place October 28th of 2018, which featured a match card of 7 with Ronda Rousey defeating Nikki Bella for the Raw Women's Championship, which I wasn't a huge fan of. I was definitely not a huge fan of, but they weren't, Ronda wasn't going to drop the belt, to a part-timer. As of right now, she was a part-timer back in 2018. As of Nikki Bella, but during that match you saw just Nikki Bella being flung around a lot, mostly alluding to the fact that I feel like Ronda Rousey, she's talented, yeah, I do agree that 1,010%, but I feel like she was too UFC for the WWE, if that makes sense. But then again, that could have been, WWE's fault as well. Ronda Rousey claimed in an interview that when it came to WWE prepping for women's matches, it was basically like, 5 minutes and done, when they would give the men 10, 20 minutes and then, kind of think of it thoroughly. But Ronda Rousey definitely should have started sometime in NXT. But, I guess, I understand what Vince and Triple H was ultimately trying to do with Ronda Rousey. She was a huge face in the UFC. Obviously, she kicked ass. She's won, the Women's Championship there before. Her coming back to WWE was a huge bombshell. Obviously, the fans didn't really buy it. A little later, she kind of fell off a little bit with the fans there. They didn't really want to accept Ronda Rousey. But, I don't know. I feel like I said before, there's so much talented young women in the WWE right now. And now we have 7 women's titles that could be defended at this PLE. We can have somebody taking on, obviously, Tiffany Stratton. This would be like a WrestleMania caliber, event for the women. That would be pretty badass, and it would just be good for overall wrestling. Just imagine like a women's WrestleMania. I feel at this point, they deserve their ultimately overall own PLE here. Because if not, I feel like if you weren't going to continue it or maybe have the possibility, or if you weren't thinking about having a Women's Evolution 2, why would you even have the first one? It'd be kind of just we gave them their own pay-per-view because we appreciate, we love women now. And then now it's kind of on the other side of the coin where you're like, oh, you really love women in your, you gave them their own PLE. Now it seems a little bonk here. I'm just kidding, no. But I don't know. I feel like it'd be kind of cool to kind of keep it going. Like I said, it'd be a nice little yearly thing where the WWE Women's Championship would be defended. The Tag Team Women's Championships would be defended. Everybody just defends their title, would be badass. Even NXT would get in the mix. We'd have Julia, the NXT World Champion, take on somebody. We'd, of course, have the United States Championship, as of right now being held by Chelsea Green. We'd have the Women's World Heavyweight Championship held by Rhea Ripley. We'd have Fallon Henley as of right now. I'm not loving her chances against Stephanie Vaquer coming this weekend. But, we'd have the Women's North American Championship. We would just have championships. The Women's Intercontinental Championship as well. And just think about it. Like, you can have, a nice little tournament, where you kind of get all the young rising stars from WWE NIL, from WWE ID, from Evolve. Also, you can have some people from the LFG. It'd be nice little, and the finals would be held. And then the winner of that match would get I think the NXT. I don't think they would ever it'd be kind of stupid if they made a jump to Raw and SmackDown right away. But they'd come to NXT. They'd get a contract right then and there. A nice little, have a nice little, accomplishment medal or trophy, however you want to do it. But I feel like that'd be pretty badass. I would love to see that. That'd be super damn cool. So yeah. Bayley, obviously, she had something to say. She mentioned it in an interview. She said this, and I quote, "We have more girls now more than ever. We can have a freaking back-to-back 2-night show. Kind of like if we wanted to, like a WrestleMania, stuff like that." She also said this, "There are so many girls, so many at NXT. We got this TNA partnership, and we got two new titles," which she's not wrong about. We had WWE, NXT, and TNA Wrestling kind of merge a little bit. And, we can also see the Knockouts Championship be defended there too. And we can also have the Knockouts Tag Team Championships be, defended. All in all, I feel like it'd be a great spot to have another Women's Evolution too, where you would, like I said before, like a huge spectacle, like a WrestleMania caliber, pay-per-view like a PLE would be pretty badass. A lot of gifted individuals, a lot, and then you can also bring in some legends. You can bring in like a nice little, nostalgia. Maybe Trish Stratus comes back to wrestle for a little bit. Maybe the Bella Twins make their way back to WWE to challenge for those Women's World Tag Team Championships. Maybe you can have, a nice little, just a pay-per-view to appreciate all the women. Because as of right now, they made one, and it was back in 2018. Like I said before, if you're gonna just have one, pay-per-view, be like, oh, cool, appreciate the women. I feel like you gotta keep it going, man. You gotta keep it going. This could be like a nice little yearly thing. Appreciate the women. I'm not saying that they don't in WWE as of right now. I definitely feel like when Triple H and Shawn took over, they are starting to invest in a lot more talented women, because women's wrestling back in the day, it's always been a second thought. It's always been a second thought on the match card. You'd get maybe like if they're lucky, 5 minutes, a nice little 7-minute match. But now it seems like they're main stage. Now it seems like they're main eventers. Now they seem like part of the reason why people watch professional wrestling at this moment, especially why most of the time people tune in NXT. NXT, the women's division rocks there, and they anchor the whole entire show. There's more women's matches than men's matches. Obviously not the case right now on SmackDown or on Monday Night Raw, but I like it. I would definitely love to see like a Women's Evolution thing with all the titles which they would never do that. With all those titles I mentioned, with the finalists between the tournament, that would be a total of 10 matches. That'd be a total of 10 matches, which is not ideal. I get it. You know what I mean? But it'd be so freaking cool, man. I would love it. I feel like it'd be pretty badass. Definitely gotta throw some respect toward Bayley there, who's gonna be at the NBA Celebrity Game, and hopefully she'll be dropping threes, man, like her idol Steph Curry. That'd be pretty badass. All right, guys, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast and the GSMC Sports Network, where we do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010%. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter/X, Instagram, TikTok for more content and updates. Make sure you guys check out all the other shows that we have here on the network, filled with amazing, gifted podcasters who have one goal in mind: to make sure you guys consume all the amazing sports content that you guys love so damn much. And guess what? It is absolutely FREE free. So just subscribe and like, make your life easier, and be a part of this amazing bloodline that we have here on the GSMC Sports Network. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Stay beautiful, but most importantly, love you.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Let's go. wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go